Assalamu alaikum and good morning. This week, Pakistan is holding separate bilateral political consultations with Denmark, Sweden, and Finland. Additional Foreign Secretary Europe, Ambassador Shafkat Ali Khan, is leading the Pakistan delegation for these talks. These consultations will be an occasion to exchange views with our friends in the region on a wide range of issues of mutual interest and to explore further engagement and cooperation, especially in the areas of environment, information technology, energy, education, and trade and investment. It will also be an opportunity to discuss important regional and global developments and key issues on the multilateral agenda, including climate change. The bilateral political consultations with Denmark took place on 21st of November, in which the Danish side was led by Undersecretary for Foreign Policy. The two sides extensively reviewed the entire ambit of bilateral relations, covering political relations, trade and investment, climate change, green energy, and people-to-people contacts. Expressing satisfaction at the positive trajectory of bilateral relations, the two sides agreed to further enhance dialogue and mutually beneficial cooperation. Pakistan-Sweden bilateral political consultations are being held today in Stockholm, while the BPC with Finland will take place tomorrow in Helsinki. Head of the Department for Asia and Pacific and Director General for Global Affairs will lead the Swedish delegation. The talks with Finland in Helsinki will be led by Director General Department for Americas and Asia, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Like the rest of the world, Pakistan impatiently awaits the truce that is expected to come into effect tomorrow in Gaza. It presents an opportunity to establish a humanitarian corridor, facilitating the delivery of food, water, fuel, and other humanitarian aid to the besieged people of Gaza. We believe that a durable and sustained ceasefire is critical for bringing the much-needed relief to the Palestinian people and to respond to the immense humanitarian needs in Gaza that include extensive and robust humanitarian supplies, urgent medical aid to the injured, and shelter to those who have been displaced as a result of indiscriminate and inhumane bombing campaign by Israeli forces. Pakistan supports the call for an international peace conference to restart the peace process. We believe that peace in the region can only be achieved with the implementation of relevant UN resolutions calling for a two-state solution, culminating in a viable, sovereign, and geographically contiguous Palestinian state within the pre-1967 borders, with Quds al-Sharif as its capital. The International Children's Day was observed earlier this week. It is a reminder of the vulnerability of children in armed conflict. As stated by the Executive Director of UNICEF, Gaza is today the most dangerous place in the world to be a child. Since October 7th, nearly 6,000 children have been killed, accounting for 40% of deaths in Gaza. We call for the protection of children of Gaza, who are the prime victims of the indiscriminate bombing campaign and will live the rest of their lives affected by immense loss and trauma. We must also not forget the plight of the children of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, who are living in an environment of violence and oppression. Heavy deployment of armed personnel and unbridled use of force have created an environment of trauma and distress for the children of IIOJK. About 100,000 children have been orphaned. Children have been arbitrarily arrested killed, injured, and even blinded because of the use of pellet guns by Indian forces. India should immediately end its suppression of IIOJK and fulfill its obligations under the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Now, a couple of announcements. Prime Minister Anwarul Haq Kakar will undertake an official visit to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, to participate in the World Action Summit, scheduled to take place on the 1st and 2nd of December, as part of the UN Climate Change Conference, COP28. Foreign Minister Jalil Abbas Jilani and Minister for Climate Change and Environmental Coordination will be part of the delegation. Prime Minister Kakar's program in Dubai includes participation in high-level events at the summit and bilateral meetings with counterparts from participating countries. The Prime Minister will present Pakistan's vision for climate change and call for implementing common climate commitments across all areas, including mitigation, adaptation, climate finance, and loss and damage. He will underline the centrality in the climate change debate of the established principles of equity and common but differentiated responsibility. He will also emphasize the need for closer global cooperation for building climate resilience. At COP28, Pakistan will work with other developing countries and seek operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund for climate vulnerable countries, as well as a meaningful outcome of the first global stocktake. It will also reiterate its call for the developed countries to urgently and fully deliver on the long overdue goal of mobilizing $100 billion per year as climate finance for developing countries. Foreign Minister Jalil Abbas Jilani will visit Belgium to attend the International Conference on a Global Alliance to Counter Migrant Smuggling, being held on the 28th of November. He will undertake this visit at the invitation of the European Commission for Migration of Home Affairs, Ylva Johansson. The conference, to be held at the ministerial level, will feature the participation of EU member states, the European Parliament, the EU Justice and Home Affairs agencies, partner countries of origin and transit, as well as several international organizations. At the conference, the Foreign Minister will shed light on the measures taken by Pakistan to mitigate irregular migration and present legal pathways of migration as a viable alternative within the framework of the recently launched Migration and Mobility Dialogue with the European Union. Thank you.